Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into one of the world's most influential texts. But what if the real key to understanding the Quran wasn't just in its verses, but hidden in its very architecture? Well, we're about to explore a guide that says that's exactly the case.
For a lot of people, the Quran can feel pretty overwhelming, almost labyrinthine. And that's not just a modern feeling. It's a challenge that's acknowledged right up front. In our source for today, Ibn Zeghlache's Guide to the Surahs of the Quran.
The author points out that this complexity makes it a real challenge to pull out the core teachings. And that's true not just for someone picking it up for the first time, but even for people who've been reading it their whole lives. The themes can feel like this vast, intricate web.
But what if there was a key to that web? What if there was a specific framework, a kind of roadmap for navigating the whole thing? And what if that roadmap was the structure itself? Now, this idea is a total game changer. It suggests the Quran isn't just a collection of revelations, but a divinely arranged, perfectly interconnected structure where every single piece builds on the one before it.
To get us to understand this, the guide starts with a really powerful metaphor, one that completely reframes how we see the text's building blocks. And it's this simple statement: a surah is a fortress.
Okay, let's break that down. A surah isn't just a chapter. The word itself, in Arabic, literally means a wall or a fortification. And each ayah, or verse, that's not just a line of text. It means a sign or a landmark, something to guide you on your way.
So this fortress metaphor tells us the structure is there for a reason. It's designed to protect your understanding and to elevate your perspective, to give you this clear, high vantage point, away from all the confusion down on the ground.
Okay, so we have this cool idea of an interconnected fortress, but does it actually hold up? Well, the guide says we don't have to look far at all. In fact, the key is sitting right there at the very beginning. This first chapter is often called the mother of the book, and here's why that's so important. The guide explains that it's believed to contain all the core objectives of the entire text, all packed into just 7 short verses. It's like the blueprint for a whole fortress.
And this is where that structure really starts to come into focus. The guide argues that those 7 verses in Al-Fatiha lay down the 3 essential pillars of a Muslim's life: belief, worship, and the deep commitment to follow a righteous path. Now for the really cool part. This is where we see the guide's big idea in action. This idea that the chapters are actually in a conversation with each other. So think about this. The very last verse of this opening chapter, the one that contains all the core themes, it ends with a direct plea, a prayer, asking for guidance.
And of course, that prayer immediately raises a question, right? If you're asking to be guided on the straight path, the next logical thing you need to know is, what is that path? The end of the first chapter perfectly sets the stage for an answer.
And there it is. Boom. The prayer from the first surah is immediately and directly answered by the very first verse of the second one. The request for guidance is met with the presentation of that guidance. It's a perfect handoff.
According to the guide, this is absolutely not a coincidence. This is the design. It's a deliberate structural feature you can find throughout the text, showing how each chapter flows into the next, forming this one beautiful, unbroken chain.
But look, understanding this structural map isn't just some cool academic exercise. The guide's real goal here is to show how understanding the blueprint actually makes the text a practical compass for your daily life. And to bring these ancient themes to life, the guide connects them to stories we all know. For example, it looks at the Quran's emphasis on patience and enduring hardship and sees that same spirit in Rocky's journey from a total underdog to a champion. It's about bridging that gap between an ancient text and a modern icon.
And that really gets to the heart of it. The ultimate goal of this method isn't just to read the Quran, but to start seeing the world through it, using it as a practical compass to navigate all the challenges life throws at you.
So, in the end, this whole structural approach is about so much more than just reading. It's about finding your own place within the text. It's like, once you can see the architecture of the fortress, you can finally live inside it and find a real sense of direction and inner peace.
And that leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? Whether we're talking about a sacred text, a complex scientific theory, or even a piece of art, what other labyrinths in our world could be unlocked if only we knew how to read their blueprint?